in the spotlight. In the spotlight.
Well, but nobody actually but that's a thing where nobody cares.
Do you know anyone who's doing shit that doesn't get this type of hate? Do you know anybody? Name one. I can't name
one
one.
way or another. Yeah, for one way or another. Yeah.
Name one dude who's actually.
Yeah, no, but it's different when it comes from the fucking actual community. You know what I'm saying? It's different when it comes from the community.
Yeah, what community? You guys keep saying this community.
Right.
Community full of cucks,
what's supposed to be
soft people.
Well, it was. I've been around for a while. Yeah, there was a community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
I thought at least.
Yeah, exactly. I think
for a while, this whole community or whatever they're speaking of, they always talk shit to each other. They always have. I have freaking prior videos of everybody in this whole room getting a piece of shit getting thrown at them, right? Erik Griffin by Adam from Workaholics. He mentioned that, Erik Griffin was an asshole.
I'ma say the name, no, because Erik is I've become really good friends with Erik.
Go off.
But Erik is a total.
He's super nice.
He's super nice. He's super nice. Right. But when you're coming up in stand up, he was just like really mean.
What?
Yeah.
He was mean? That is not what I expected.
Are you saying, was he checking you kind of thing? Like that kind of comedy guy? Very nice. Just trying to push you just to test you.
Yeah, no, he's like the sage old vet,
right?
And he would always treat me like the rookie.
Brendan mentioned the first time he met Erik, he was an asshole towards him. Chris Elia, a long history of being an asshole as well. But all of a sudden now, they're different because they're dads or some shit. I don't know.
I believe that the internet helped to destroy that, and
for sure.
Because
but also, I agree. There was a community. There was a community, but before Rogan left, those whatever 5 to 7 years. It was the golden age, right?
Yeah. And they also go off on Marc Maron and call him jealous and bitter, which he kind of is. But they act like him criticizing other comedians is just completely out of line. Well, that's exactly what they are doing. And Erik,
look, I think with Mark, why would he be jealous? What is he jealous about? Maybe bitter, bitter old man, but jealous of who? Of what? And Marc Maron's career as an actor and as a stand-up comic is pretty well regarded. Nobody's ever, trashing him over those things. So maybe just bitter, I would say, but jealous? What is he jealous of? What is he jealous of? Of who? And of whom?
Erik also complains about how Mark and Anthony Jeselnik act like comedy should be a certain way, but he's also acting like comedy should be a certain way where comedians don't make fun of each other. I don't agree with everything Mark says, but I think it's better to have comedians being honest about what they think of each other in the state of comedy, which is what Erik and Chris are doing here, but also at the same time, they're acting like they're above it. And even though I think they sound kind of confused, I encourage it. Just talk shit at this point. Who cares? Because we all know they're doing it behind the scenes anyway. But they're in a weird position where they obviously want to call out comedians who trash the Rogan sphere, but they know Rogan doesn't really like drama and comedians shitting on each other, which is kind of ironic because the biggest moment of Rogan's comedy career was him publicly calling out another comedian, Carlos Mencia, and destroying his career.
They know they're bad. They know it's scummy work, but it's the only way they can make money.
Well, no, I don't know. I think that some people take that.
The only way, guys, Brendan, you guys have to understand too, the way that these guys talk is just cope. Yeah, the reason why they're just always talking shit about us is because they're gonna make money from it. You know who makes money from talking shit is me. That's it. All these guys, they make money off of their stand-up comedy and everything else they do. You guys too. Your fucking show that I used to watch, you guys would make fun of your fans and people that used to actually like you and would engage with you some of the time, and your shitty history. You guys used to do that too, but now you guys lost that power.
Take this weird high ground. That's my problem with what Marc Maron does. Is
taking the high ground,
this moral high ground, and this a genius complex that some of them have.
To be like,
Jeselnik's got that. He's got this genius complex that it's this is what comedy's supposed to be, and Mark's telling me man, I just care about comedy.
Jeselnik's different.
No, Jeselnik criticizes the problems that comedy has. You know, I don't think he will criticize anybody if they're funny and they're successfully funny. Like, why is he gonna talk shit about that? He only talks shit when people are not doing great or he sees something stupid, right? Which is mostly these guys.
Mark, I like Jeselnik. Jeselnik's different than Mark. Mark's a salty bitch. Jeselnik will do it like when he goes after Rogan or something. It's still in a funny way, and it's kind of his thing, right? Being kind of that asshole.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't mind Jeselnik.
I don't know. I just
Is Brendan scared or something?
Anthony's my friend.
I like
Tell him to
Jeselnik.
his face.
no, yeah.
I don't like this.
Yeah,
I don't like
Jeselnik.
that shit.
Personally, I like Jeselnik whenever I see him.
I just don't like that. I don't like that
Jeselnik's
shit.
awesome. He's a dark
When I see him, yeah, we're good. We're good. Hey, Jeselnik, please don't make fun of me, please.
comic, though.
No,
That's his
I
thing,
know.
but it's not Mark's
I
thing.
know, but when you carry it over into a podcast saying,
Yeah.
fucking this person sucks, and you don't even know.
Yeah.
Maron doesn't even know that Matt has an act. Like Matt has an act.
Yeah.
You don't have to think it's
That shit's
funny.
Crazy.
But
That shit's crazy.
So I don't know, man. I'm just saying it sucks.
You don't think he knows? Of course he does. Mark talks shit and is educated about it.
well, you know the
When
thing.
I see comics getting dragged or whoever getting dragged, it just fucking always sucks, man. It always sucks. Even if I don't like them, I'm like, it sucks.
Listen, Maron's a soft cuck. Maron would be like, bro.
What the hell? Hopefully Maron does not hear you say that, bud.
You know, come on, man. And I guarantee if Matt came at him with like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, he said to
I
me-
guarantee you Maron would back off.
Well, he said to me,
Guaranteed.
he said, just walked up to me. He was like, look, man, I'm not jealous. I'm not bitter. At worst, I'm old.
Bullshit.
And I said to him, Mark, if it looks like a duck.
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to look at what it comes off as, yeah.
And they spent a lot of time defending Matt Rife and Jeff Dye, who are two comedians Mark was trashing during podcasts he was on. But they didn't say anything about the bit Mark did about Theo during his special, which is interesting because that got the most attention. That went the most viral out of all the people he's making fun of. And Theo used to be on this podcast when it was King and the Sting. So for them not to defend him was kind of strange. And I don't think I've seen any other comic
Well, it's not strange because Theo got himself out of that podcast because of the history of Chris D'Elia. That's why. Like, he didn't feel comfortable with him. Like you haven't heard as of recent that, oh yeah, we're cool. Me and Theo, and also Brendan too, longtime friend Brendan Schaub. He's not cool with Theo recently. Like, that's why they're not defending Theo. And also they don't speak about the thing that they're making fun of, right? Because they can't really like respond to that. They can't rebuttal it because Mark is probably right of that. Mark is probably right, and his criticism is valid at times. I would say, like, I haven't heard every criticism of Mark, right? But I'm sure whenever he does put his sights on somebody, then he will have an accurate estimate of what he's making fun about them for.